Hi, I'm N7 Strider and welcome to my 5 enemies I would like to see in Batman Arkham Origins. First up, I apologise if there's a slight hiss in the background or a bit of noise, but I am recording this using the internal microphone, not the headset like I was using before, because that was altering the audio and you could hardly hear me without ramping your volume all the way up. So this is the best I can do, I'm afraid, until I get that sorted out. I don't know exactly what's causing it, but when I use the internal microphone it seems to be a lot better. So yeah, let's get on with this. Some of the villains, sorry my notes are there again, I had to think and take notes about this. Some of the villains I've put down here I see as assassins, which fits the theme of the game, and a couple, well, one really is more of someone I'd like to see included just for fun. I'm not going to go in depth with all of them, but I will do with a couple because I've brought down some here that are quite cool. So first up, number one who I'd like to see is Prometheus. For those of you who don't know who Prometheus is, this guy's like a dark reflection of Batman. He saw his, they're described as hippie criminal parents, gunned down by police officers in a raid gone bad, and he witnessed that and his hair turned white from the shock. He recovered some of his money, his parents' stolen money, and travelled the world learning martial arts, and he trained with a group of evil monks whose leader turned out to be an alien. This guy's cool though, bear with me. So this guy has gadgets, kind of like Batman's, but these ones can be more vicious and, you know, actually inflict physical bodily pain more so than what Batman's do. I mean, like proper to inflict pain. This guy also has cybernetics in his brain, which enables him to download any fighting style that he sees fit, and this makes him easily capable of taking on Batman in hand-to-hand combat. This was actually shown in JLA New Year's Eve, I believe. Prometheus actually infiltrated the Watchtower. He took on the Justice League members that were present at the time, including Batman, the Flash, let's see who else, the Steel was there, and he even managed to stop Superman. He didn't stop him as in combat, he was the only one that he factored in he would be unable to defeat, so he created a hostage situation where Superman would be unable to act against him and tried to goad Superman into killing himself to save the innocent people. The only reason why Prometheus was defeated was Catwoman made an untimely entrance and distracted him long enough for the heroes to regain composure and take Prometheus down, but Prometheus still managed to escape. So that shows just how badass this guy is. I think I've gone into everything with this guy, but he's got some really cool armour. He looks a bit like a knight. Well, to me he looks like a cybernetic sort of knight feel to him. So he's pretty cool. Definitely top of my list when it comes to enemies I'd like to see, and I think for an assassin character he'd fit pretty well. I mean, the price on Batman's head in this game is 50 million. I think you could say any of Batman's back catalogue of villains would be willing to take on Batman for 50 million. The second one I got down here is an oldie, but I promise you a goodie. KG Beast. This guy makes Deathstroke look like a pussy. Okay, I said it, I'm going to get on with it. Here's why. This guy appeared originally back in the 1980s, maybe 1986 or 1988, I'm not entirely sure. But this guy, I'm not even going to pronounce his real name because I butcher it horribly. It's Anatoly. No, I'm not going to even attempt it. But this guy was sent by Russia during the 80s to assassinate then President Ronald Reagan. Okay, it's goofy, but bear with me because this guy is a badass. Of course, Batman steps in to take him down and manages to catch his arm in a length of bat rope, which leaves KG Beast trapped. But KG Beast then proceeds to cut his own arm off with an axe. He then gets a cybernetic gun prosthetic grafted in. need I say more? This guy's a badass assassin and makes Deathstroke look like a pussy. So that's all I've got to say on it. Just think he'd be really fun, especially if we don't know what time frame this is set in. All the Batman games, especially the Arkham verse, seem to look present day. So if it's present day and we're going to a younger Batman, maybe 80s, who knows? Excuse me. And we can have a nice KG Beast in there, because I swear to you, he's awesome. They could even reimagine him to be just a KGB trained assassin, just who's come over to Arkham, to Gotham, just to kick a little ass and earn the 50 million. My third choice for maybe assassin is Wayland Jones, aka Killer Croc. Now, before anyone says Killer Croc was in Arkham Asylum and his boss fight, if you can call it that, didn't add up to much. I know it didn't add up to much, but like they're doing with Bane, where Bane isn't on the Venom steroid and he's actually smaller, we could do the same thing with Killer Croc. He wouldn't be as mutated. He was born with a rare genetic disease. I can't remember the name of it, or if it's even been named in the comics. He was born with a rare genetic disease which caused his body to grow and be green and scaly. So maybe this could be a smaller Killer Croc, not as physically imposing, but someone, I wouldn't say Batman size, maybe a bit bigger. I would love to see that personally, just a smaller, less mutated Killer Croc. I'm sure he'd fit in as an assassin. I mean, we've got a few great choices so far, and they've even managed to fit in people like Mad Hatter in there and the Penguin. In fact, I'm a little worried that this could be a little overkill with too many villains, but because we've got the 12 assassins, and some of them like Anarchy, Penguin, and the Mad Hatter aren't even people who I see as assassins. So my number 4 choice is Garfield Lynns. This guy is awesome, and I think could actually fit in as a really good assassin, even though that isn't his thing. His thing is more of a pyromaniac. This guy started off, I believe it was the Gotham Central comics. I may be wrong, that might be Firebug. There is two very similar villains. But he started off just as a pyromaniac fascinated with fire, and he burned large quantities of Gotham to the ground. During these fires, they were so widespread that he even burnt himself, resulting in 90% burning on his body, 90% scars. So he's heavily burned. Because he burned himself, he actually made a flame retardant suit. He wears like a cool helmet now, and like a backpack on for his flamethrower. He's armed with a flamethrower, which makes him pretty cool. So I think he could be pretty cool, a pretty interesting boss fight. Maybe, who knows, maybe a bit like the Mr. Freeze boss fight in Arkham City, where he would freeze something. This guy could like set fire to something to shed light and to make it impossible to reuse areas of the terrain, much like Mr. Freeze did. But we don't want to see an exact retread of the Mr. Freeze boss fight, just with flames instead of ice. But who knows? Just you see, this is a hard one. This is why I didn't include Firefly, Garfield, Lynns in my original list. I actually included Flamingo. I'm going to mention briefly this guy. It's from the Grant Morrison era of the Batman comics, and I love Grant Morrison. He wrote my favourite Batman graphic novel of all time, which is Arkham Asylum, Serious House on Serious Earth. Go check it out if you haven't already, because it is brilliant. Flamingo, he's a hitman for the mob, which helps with the whole assassin vibe that pop up again. Anyone who watched some videos know I keep getting pop up. So yeah, he's a hitman for the mob, which ties in, but he's also fascinated with pink. and has pink themed weapons and pink themed vehicles, and yeah, he wouldn't tie in. I crossed him off. That was mainly because of my love for Grant Morrison. I apologise. So I went with Firefly Garfield Lens. And the fifth, I have done all. Yeah, sorry, checking my list. I have done all 5. Number 5 isn't an assassin, okay? I put this in because I thought it would be fun, and if you hear me out, it will be, okay? Calendar Man. I know he's not an assassin, and he themes his murders and crimes around the holidays. So he was awesome in Arkham City. You could go and talk to him on, you know, a public holiday, like, hey, do you want to hear about the murders I did on St. Patrick's Day, Batman? And you'd be like, not really, but I'm here, so I may as well. I'm always a bit creeps out by them, to be honest, but, you know, he was a fun little inclusion. Now, this game is set on Christmas Eve. What better than having the Calendar Man turn up dressed as the big red jolly fat guy Santa Claus and being able to smack him? Have I sold you yet? Julian Day, the Calendar Man, dressed as Santa Claus, and you get to punch him. Not everyone loves Christmas. I don't like Christmas. It's good for family, but it's way too commercial now, so I want to be able to punch the big jolly fat guy. I want to be able to punch Santa Claus in this game. I'm sorry, that's just me, Santa Claus. I could have included the Reaper. I wanted to include the Reaper, but I didn't because he's been pretty much written out of canon. So, you know, this is a guy in a red suit with a black hood and, you know, a white skull mask. Looks like the Grim Reaper. He's Joe Chill Jr. He's a pretty decent villain, but no, I want to punch Santa Claus. That's all I ask. I want to punch Santa. Can I, please? No? Okay, but they're the 5 villains that I'd like to see in the new Batman Arkham Origins. I don't know. I had a lot of fun making this video, more fun than I actually thought I would. Just looking at the villains of Batman's past, and some really crazy ones like the Condiment King and stuff like that. Who's more for comic relief, but the Calculator, good God, he's had some terrible enemies over the time. I kid you not, he's had some terrible enemies. 10-eyed man, a guy with 10 eyes, a villain. Yeah. Anyhow, I've been N7 Strider. Just a quick thing for my subscribers. I don't know who's watching this, but for my subscribers, sorry, I'm showing you a bit of flesh here. That's my tattoo. I tweeted about this on Twitter. I've got the old. I'll get a bit closer just so you can see it. I tweeted about this, just that I had a tattoo done, and I said I would show it off when it had healed. So there it is. Sorry, I had to flash you a bit of flesh there. Ooh, I should charge you for that, actually. So I've been N7 Strider. As always, I should go.